Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We are swinging way up north across the Canadian border, and we're going to be talking about some quarter horse racing this week. And we've got a father-son team going on here. Bryn and Mike Robertson, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you, and we're very excited to be here and share our experience with the product.
Well, it's
looking forward to chatting here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you guys on. And a lot of the other podcasts that we have are typically dealing with horses that, they're dealing with some kind of issues, and, they've been down different paths, just really kind of at their wits' end, and they stumbled across the product, and it seemed to be the missing component that really helped their horse. And so there's all kinds of topics that we've talked about. This podcast, which I am pretty excited about, you guys are obviously in the racing industry and doing a lot of winning, and you stumbled across our product. But before we get into that, let's just first talk a little bit about the history. How long have you guys been in the racing industry? How did it all start? Let's just kind of pick it up from there.
Well, we were married. Carol and I got married 54 years ago. We moved to the farm here, and we barrel raced into the 90s, and then we got into the racing. And then after that, Michael and his wife come in with us, and we've been going as a team ever since.
So a whole family affair.
Yes, it is.
That is awesome. Well, what have been some of the challenges, some of the biggest challenges through the years being in the racing industry?
Getting the right horses and keeping them fit and keeping them sound. Keeping a horse sound is a big job.
Yeah.
So It's a lot of work, but that's the secret. You got to have a horse that wants to do it, and you got to have a horse that's feeling good and sound. Right.
Out of curiosity, how many horses do you typically go through in a year to try to find that right horse?
Oh, well, we've went through quite a few, and we've had 3 or 4 really good ones and some decent ones. We run about 8 a year, though, on average.
8, okay. Yep. Now, talking about let's just jump right into it, because this is the exciting part of the whole podcast here, is your 5-year-old quarter horse Had to Be Ivory. What's the history on this horse, and what kind of accomplishments have you had with this one?
Well, Ivory, we bred him. He's by Ivory James out of this Had to Be Fandango mare, which is nominated for Horse of the Year, AQHA, Broodmare of the Year. But he's ran 11 times. No, he's run 14 times, sorry. He's won 11, 2 seconds, and out of 14, so he's done really well.
We've been lucky enough to breed him as well, so we had him right from the beginning, so it's been a treat. Watch him come along.
Yeah, that's great. So with was it 2 separate awards that it won?
Yeah, he won the AQHA award for the top Canadian horse 2 years in a row, and he was Horse of the Year this last year, and with all the stake rates he won too. So he's been fantastic.
Wow. Now, how common is that to win 2 consecutive years?
Not too common.
We got lucky back in, in 2013. We had Horse of the Year as well. We didn't think that was going to come back around, and long and behold, Had to Be Fandango popped a real nice baby out. Actually, he's got 3 right now, and 2-year-old right now is really piquing our interest. So we're pretty excited about this one as well.
Sure.
Actually, it looks like a twin brother to Fandango, to Ivory. So,
oh, wow.
Cool.
Well, I'm sure with all of that winning, there's probably been a few eyeballs on you guys with testing is pretty strict. And, in the racing industry, I'm sure is pretty, people hold things close to their chest. But has that been more common with you guys winning as much as you have?
Well, we've had the guys from the AQHA, they call it now. They've been here 3 times to test us pre-race, and we get blood tested every time, and everything we're clear all the time.
And they've been doing hair testing too, which is great because you can sure see a lot more with a hair test, and it covers a lot farther back as well. So it's kind of nice that they are doing that to keep everybody on the same playing field.
Sure.
But they say the testing up here is, well, I'm sure it's everywhere. I think it's more
stringent,
stricter than the Olympics for people.
Oh, wow.
There's no, they don't allow anything. Like, there's no allowance. Like, you're positive or you're not. As the Olympic people, they always have something. They're allowed to have a certain amount of something in their feet. So you have to be strict. You got to make sure every piece of food you give that horse, you know where it's been. You know how it's got there. You know if that bag says contamination free. You have to be really careful. Even when we were first brought onto this product,
Sure.
Tommy G was telling us about this product, and heard a lot of people tell us about products, and I'm like, great, just another cost to be added to the toll.
Yeah.
Well, then we have to trust Tommy because he's a long-time good friend and he's a great horseman, so we went along with it, not really thinking, it's just another thing. But anyhow, we seem to be on a good roll with it, and I exercise a lot myself, so actually Tommy got me taking it myself, and I feel better all around.
Right.
At the end of the day, as I'm getting older, it's not as easy.
No, it's not.
So I hope the horses are feeling it too, and we don't have much to go on anymore. You got to go on a good feed program, and I think Equinety right now is our only supplement we're feeding, to tell you the truth, other than good feed.
Sure.
And another thing too, we had the vets look at it and make sure that it was not. So we did our homework on it to make sure it wasn't going to test.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, it's good.
Yeah. Now, what I found, of course, we've been on the market now 5 years, and of course, we're big in the barrel racing industry, and a lot of other disciplines use the product, and a lot in the racing industry, although we don't hear about it a whole lot. It seems like the folks in the racing industry don't want to share with people what they're using because, well, why would they? But that's why I was very excited to have you guys on. So when you first learned about...
something to add about this product, though, is that in the barrel racing world, when we went to barrel races and stuff, you take your horse on a Friday, you tie him to the trailer, or you had a stall if you're lucky, and you run him that night, and you run him again, maybe in an exhibition, maybe you enter him that night in a jackpot. The next day you'd enter him in the morning, and you'd enter him in the evening, and you work him all day, you tie him to the trailer, and your horses were managed to do all right all the time. It never seemed to be a problem. When you get into racing, you take one horse down that track, and even if it's 250 yards, that horse has spent every last piece of life he had in him. They're exhausted. They don't come home and be like, they're exhausted. It takes them 2 days to get over even as easy as a 250-yard race. It takes them, it drains them so much that they go off their feet. They're exhausted. They're mentally and physically exhausted. So that's when that product's been a real kind of blessing to come along.
Sure.
Because we never really experienced being back in these days of those barrel horses and stuff. It's great. I mean, but we've never seen horses get drained so easy, and it's good to have something to help recover these horses.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, and I'm sure there's a big component of it too. I mean, they know what they're about to do, and just like you said, that takes a mental toll on them and everything else. Now, for those that are tuning in for the first time, we're talking to Bryn and Mike Robertson of Quarter Horse Racing. And the Equinety Horse Excel product itself, it's 100% pure amino acids. There's no fillers, no sugars, no starches. There's no loading dose, and it does not test. How long have you guys been using the product now?
I think we bought it off Tommy over a year ago.
Okay.
He was pushing it on us last year to try this miracle potion here.
And we had the best year we ever had on it, too.
And I was pretty skeptical, but as our records show, I mean, you got to hope you get a lot of luck in this. But you got to stack your odds in all components, right from the top to the bottom. The races are won on inches and noses. And
yeah.
So I always look at it, if we can, when you run to get to the finish line, just say you don't win it, you got your nose there for second. That's 50% usually, everything goes back 50%. So if you can get second rather than third rather than fourth, first rather than second, you're doing a lot better. So if you can grab an inch here or there and that horse feels that much better, that's where you're going to end up.
Absolutely. And with genetics being a huge part of it, and you guys have been winning long before you came across Equinety, but we're going to take as much credit as we can here, just so you know.
No, we have never had a good year as we did last year.
Oh, that's awesome. So when
the cards all laid in place last year, I must say. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
we had a 55% winning average.
Holy smokes. You're probably not liked that much out there on the track, huh?
No, they don't like us anymore.
It was a lot of fun, but it was stressful. Like, they just kept going on a little bad tear. I think the first 8 races without this is odd. We went 8 in a row. I mean, just had a good run of luck. And, it takes being in the right race, the right timing. But the horse has to feel good. It comes down to inches.
Sure.
We inched our way through a few races.
And then Ivory, he set a track record too last year.
Holy smokes. And how old is Ivory?
He's 5 now. He's 4 last year, when we raced him.
Wow.
But, and we had other horses that did well too. We had another 2-year-old, Easy Street, that was 2-year-old of the year, and he won 4 races. He won 2 stakes and 2 trials, so he was a great horse too for us.
Yeah,
he was our surprise. He came along at the right time. We didn't expect him to be very good. He was kind of a grumpy little guy to break and train, but he loved race day. Loved all the aspects of the challenge, I think.
Sure. Yeah. Now, when you first got the product, so you did all your homework, you had your vet look at everything, then you're comfortable using it. What were your initial thoughts when you saw that tiny little scoop in there?
Tiny little, pardon me?
The tiny little scoop that's in there in the tub.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think it was very much for a big horse, but
we didn't give a whole lot of thought. We went in actually on an interesting note. We went in on we were skeptical. We did it because Tommy told us it was this great product, and he's a good horseman, not one to beat around the bush. And then we went in on it, so we were skeptical, even down to the 1 scoop, but we used it religiously all year long, from the beginning to the end. We ain't going to stop now.
And we had a 3-year-old filly that was 3-year-old filly of the year too.
Holy camole! So yeah, some of this
they
is
were
news
all
to
on
me.
It. Every horse went on it, though.
Wow, that's incredible. So from the time you started using it, how long, or how soon rather, did you start seeing results, and what were the results that you started seeing?
Well, very shortly we seen this. They started to put on some muscle. They build up very nicely, and they seem to have stand power more. And so that's the difference between winning and losing. If your horse can get out there and stay there for a quarter of a mile instead of fading, and they seem to have more finish.
The way you asked it, because that kind of interested me, because when I look back at the horses, our horses seemed bigger last year than normal. Like, they seemed to be carrying more weight. We were actually concerned about that at one point. We're like, I don't know, should we put these horses on a diet?
Uh-huh.
And I was actually concerned halfway through the year. We're like, a couple of these horses looking heavy, but they ran great. They seemed to, and we enjoyed the recovery part of it, I think, as much as anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and I want to get into that a little bit. Now, Mike, you're also a farrier.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing that?
28 years.
All right. So have you noticed anything in specifically with their hooves?
I was watching that as you said that, Tommy, and now we're saying how good it was that people are finding it good for the hooves. And looking back, I wasn't looking at that for that purpose. But looking back, we didn't have any feet problem last year either. So on that note, it did work. I just wasn't looking at that compartment. But looking back, we had no problems, and the feet were good. And see, with my horses, I reset them probably, I'm probably 3 to 4 weeks. I do not like to think you're on, as far as I'm concerned, you're on a light shoe. You're fit tight. So they're not meant to last. They're meant to be on for racing 3 weeks. So I need the horses to grow foot so that before a race, I'll put new shoes on my horses every time. Mm-hmm. I'm OCD about running a race without their feet being done. So I need them to grow good quality foot, because if I got to nail shoes on every 3 weeks and they're not growing foot, I'm in trouble. And last year, I had not found a single problem last year on the feet. And that says a lot, because I wasn't even looking at it until you mentioned it. Sure. It was great. So overall, you're right. I did see a difference, but I never gave it a lot of thought. But it was great. We had no problems last year at all in the feet department.
Well, that's great. How about injections? Is that something that you've had to do with joints and stifles and things like that? Is that an issue?
Yeah, if they need it, we want them to feel good. I would never want a horse running and not feeling good. In the same breath, you do not want to do it too much because there's only so many times every time you go into a knee or a hock, you're taking a chance.
Sure.
And we've been very lucky and haven't had a problem. But this last year, we did not inject. Probably not near as much as we've had to in the past. So with that being said, we didn't use our vet didn't make as much money off us last year. That's what you're asking.
Well, and I asked that question because we hear this all the time with horses that are injected regularly, whether that be even once a year or twice a year. When they start using the product, they always say, I didn't have to inject as often, and sometimes not at all, depending on the severity of what's going on. So I was curious if that's what you had found.
Maybe it helps keep on with I don't know, maybe it just helps them out. Even if you do inject them, maybe it helps the length of the time or something, because I ride all my own horses, so I take the feel really, when I'm riding, I'm obsessed about feeling them. If I don't feel right, I get after Dad. And last year, we didn't do very much. And like I said, the Equinety was the one thing I could maybe say was the dividing factor on the whole thing.
Sure.
Not much else you can say. We didn't have any tricks, or there's nothing. There's no magic potion to make a horse run, so you have to do it with what's in our legal boundaries.
Right. Yeah. Now, and without naming any other supplement brands or anything like that, were you guys using other products prior to the Equinety product and able to wean off, and just now you're only using the Equinety, or what would that look like?
We're only using Equinety, other than maybe some red cell to boost up some iron, but good feed.
Yeah.
A good feed program is key. I'm sure with the Equinety, any athlete out there is going to have to be fed well before your supplements actually even probably kick in as well as you'd like. So I think the combination is really the key, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
With the Equinety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, getting back to, you were talking, Bryn, a little while ago about just finishing strong. What have you guys noticed since you've been using the Equinety compared to years past without using the Equinety? Have you found that they do finish stronger?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. They seem to finish stronger. When it comes down to about the last 50 yards, if they fade a bit, you're out of luck. But you got to have that horse keep kicking for the last 50 yards. And if they do that, and we've had that happen, we've had them come up right at the end and just win.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
Racing is a game of inches.
Yeah. And how are they?
But I've seen lots of horses get out front and they get about 3/4 of the way down, and all of a sudden they're going backwards.
Yeah, going the wrong direction.
Yeah, you're not always going to be on the best side of the track either. There's always known to be slow sides, fast sides, good days, bad days, and you hope that if you get on the deep side of the track, they can power through it rather than fade out on you at the very last 50 yards.
Sure. Yeah. And how are they post-race when they're in the paddock and everything? What's their demeanor and behavior and everything there? Do you find they recover a lot faster?
We've had some really good horses in the paddock this year. We haven't had any crazy horses. Last year or so, they've seemed to be keeping their minds together, and that's a big thing too. And the gates, and they've been really good in the paddock. We haven't had a bad horse last year. So
great. And also,
nothing scares me worse than taking the 2-year-old to the track, and you're just like, I just hope they enjoy this. Oh, and you just cross your fingers. And last year, even the one that was rough to handle at home, he was a firecracker. He actually enjoyed race day, and actually all the shenanigans went out the door when he got to the track. So,
wow, yeah,
this says something for it, maybe.
Now, how about you mentioned why they're in the gate? Have you noticed a different bit of a demeanor in the gate since they've been on product, or what have you noticed there?
Yeah, we haven't had much trouble with gate horses. A lot of people have trouble with gate horses. Our horses seem to be pretty settled. The big horse, sometimes he gets a little anxious, but other than that, we've had great luck in the gate this year.
I think our big horse broke probably out of his
races. I don't know, can't remember if he ran 5 times. Probably had 3 of his best breaks he's ever had. One pretty good, and then one time he caught a shoe, but I don't want to say that because I'm blaming the blacksmith at that point. Can't fire myself.
No. Now, how about... go ahead.
He did. He seemed to settle down in the gates.
Sure.
But he's on a hair trigger, and last year he was holding it better, definitely better than the year before.
Yeah. And
a 2-year-old, I don't understand why he decided to like it so much, because he, like I said, he's a firecracker at home. He'll buck you right off if you ain't paying attention, or you take him out the wrong day. You better be ready, because he'll lay down a major bucket. When he went to the track, he was as happy as a pig in mud.
Yeah, that's funny. Now, have you had any specific feedback from the jockeys? Are they noticing anything different?
Yeah, they're winning. They're always happy if they're winning.
Oh, yeah.
Jockey just loves our horses.
Yeah.
We're lucky. We got Tony Phillips, and he's damn near a family member to us, and he's been true and blue and stayed with us through the horses, and he's been with us for the last 2 years, and he's been really loyal, and couldn't ask for a better jockey. So, like, I always look for a jockey that can get out of those gates. Try not to. And if he can get out of the gates, a good jockey can get out there 9 out of 10 times. He's there every time with us. He doesn't miss a beat, so he really helps those horses along too. And he's been thrilled.
Yeah. Well,
he's been absolutely thrilled this year. And he was jockey of the year this year as well.
Last year.
Oh, last year, of course.
Man.
But that was a pretty big thing for him. We had to listen to a 10-minute speech. That was fun, a little rapping involved there. But he got the top jockey award this year, and he rode some other great horses, but he didn't. He's gonna have to say he had the best year with ours. It's pretty awesome.
Well, you guys
had some pretty exciting times last year.
So basically, whatever awards there were to win, you guys just took it all home.
Yeah. We had a fun year last year. Probably never to be repeated again. If we can even get a sniff of what we had last year, I think the product still speaks for itself. Going into it, I'm like, I have to tell myself that, okay, don't count on it being like last year.
Yeah. Everybody says we're cheating, but we weren't.
Yeah. Now, and Tommy G, who you've mentioned several times, or it may have been Mike when you and I were having a conversation before, because when whatever the organization was that come out to do the test, and you opened up the tack room and there was the Equinety sitting there, what did they pick it up?
They looked at it and said it's fine.
Yeah. Which it is, yeah.
They can come in at any time and check everything. They can even come up to your house and go in your fridge.
They don't make an announcement. I don't know how they do it, because they just show up. So what's on your counter, what's in your house, you don't know. It could be the day before the race. It could be the day after. It could be middle of the week. Sometimes they were just so random you wouldn't know, but they're welcome to come anytime they want.
But they read it, and they said it was completely legal. And so it was great.
Yeah.
We don't hide it.
No.
We're trying to hide it.
Yeah. Well, now being on the podcast, as long as nobody listens to this, we're fine.
Yeah, I prefer if you just keep this between our family.
No, it's okay. I told a couple of guys.
I haven't. No, just kidding. I've told a bunch of guys too. Told my close friends.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for those that are tuning in, I've kind of gone over what the product is, but actually how the product works is pretty interesting, because it's different than anything else on the market, being 100% pure amino acids, but they're specifically formulated to stimulate the pituitary gland, which is the master gland in the body. And that's what releases the necessary hormones, which then help the body repair at the cellular level. So in essence, you're giving the body what it needs to release its own hormones, and therefore it's that horse's body that's sending the hormones to whatever problem areas. It could be soft tissue, it could be hooves, it could be gut, muscle, which we talked a lot about here. And maybe you got the entire batch of Equinety tubs that all had winter on the inside. Maybe that was...
Good. I want the same stuff.
The same lot goes to the Robertsons. Yeah.
Tell everybody else they can't have that stuff.
Yeah,
we even did it for the brood bears.
Ah, yes.
Tommy was telling me that the brood mares and also stallions, you guys are coming up realizing it's actually working well with the stallions to bring up their sperm count, eh?
Yeah, it's been one of those things where we've heard from a half a dozen breeding facilities that they have noticed an increase in fertility since they added this product. And I'm waiting to get some reports that are signed off so we could have some official results other than what somebody told me. But yeah, it seems to be helping in that area.
Our mare, we put on her as well, and she looks outstanding. Yeah, that's all I can say. Like, she is big, she's full, she's huge, actually. She absolutely looks perfect.
Well, nice.
She's a sight to see as far as I'm concerned. She's got her coat is fantastic. You would think she was kept in California all winter.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that we should go over before we sign off? Anybody else that might be on the fence about this stuff and think, hey, that stuff sounds too good to be true? Anything you could tell them that might get them off the fence to try it, other than what you've already talked about?
Honestly, it's I can't even explain to you. You have to stack your odds. And like I said, races are run by less than inches. Photo finishes, and you want to be on the other side of that picture. You want to be the guy in the front. And that's what we're trying to accomplish, is stacking our odds. I'm huge on, there's a lot of guys that do it, and it's just one other product that we can use. You have to do your shoeing and your teeth and have a good veterinarian. And then when it comes to your feed program, then you can stack your odds. And then you got to rely on luck, but you do have to stack your odds. That's what we're going with on this product. We think that's done a heck of a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the difference between your last 50 yards and your horse fading out and going third or winning. Well, I don't even care about the winning as much as hold your position. Don't fail us now.
Yeah.
If you want the extra mile, especially for me, I'm 46 now and I exercise every day. And I'll be honest with you, it's not as easy.
No.
So if you can get things to help you recover and feel better when you're doing it, that's the only way to gain the inch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mike and Bryn Robertson out of Ontario, Canada, in the quarter horse racing industry, I want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing your experience and your win with the product, and really, really appreciate it. So thank you guys for being on the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
You've been more than helpful with answering all the questions I've had, and it's been awesome talking to you guys over the phone. One day maybe we'll get to meet you, but we really appreciate you taking this call.
Oh, absolutely, and the pleasure's all mine. And it's hard to find people in the racing industry that'll spill the beans, so to speak. So
yeah, everybody got the secret.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks a bunch, and really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.